Hi, everybody. Well, I'm reading this story that came up, and it's all about a cruise passenger. They're calling the entitled passenger an annoying woman who was voted off the cruise ship over her entitled behavior. Yet the more I read it, the more I'm going, I don't know if I would call that entitled. So in an article it's called Holiday Makers Vote Annoying Woman Off Cruise Ship Over Her Entitled Behavior. And they go on to say where a woman who was 42 years old was the youngest woman on the cruise. Everybody else was over 60, where she was on this cruise with her mother, and they met at what they're calling an entitled passenger. And they said it all started even before they got on the ship, because they ended up in New Guinea. And they were apparently in a minibus, and the woman got on the cruise with a ton of souvenirs and bags that they said basically other passengers had to try and work around to get back deeper into the minibus to have a seat, and some of them had to crawl over those seats that fold down in the middle, etc. And I'm kind of going, well, this is kind of on the bus driver. You're allowed to buy souvenirs, right? This is you can buy souvenirs all you want. But if you have a lot of packages and that, the bus driver should have made her sit in the back with the packages, and then it wouldn't have interfered with anybody on the bus. But let's just say they couldn't do it. It's an annoying thing. Oh, she has packages, I can't. But entitled because she bought packages of souvenirs at a souvenir shopping area. I don't know if I would call her entitled for being able to do that. I think she's just saying, hey, I got a lot of things I want to give to my friends back home. But the story does continue, because it also talks about one of their next ports of call that they go into, where they stopped in Rabaul, New Britain. And there's a traditional fire dance there performed called a baining, where the performers wear dance costumes and big, huge masks. Now, these masks are about 5 feet high and about 3 feet wide, and they're handmade, and they they have like 6 dancers out there, and they're dancing around the fire dance. It's a very big festival, and it's tradition that they do it. It's on these excursions. And some people asked if, would they have time to make new masks in time for the next performance that they had to do, whenever that was, and if they could bring them to the ship where people could maybe buy the masks. And so they agreed that they were going to do that. And they drove, one of the people drove the masks to the cruise port and the dock, and lo and behold, there was entitled passenger, and she was standing on the dock waiting for them, where she bought 3 of the 6 masks. Big, huge masks. She bought 3 of them. And they were complaining that she bought these before the other passengers even knew the truck was there. They were still back in their cabin waiting for the truck to arrive. And, well, is that her fault? The early bird gets the worm, right? She knew the truck was coming. Everybody knew the truck was coming. And she stood out there waiting for it to be the first in line to buy the masks. Is that entitled? I call that, are you entitled if you're the first person on Black Friday standing in front of the store? Is that entitled? Or is that smart shopping? I don't get the entitlement here. Now, the story does go on to say that this woman on this trip ended up buying so many souvenirs that the woman she was staying with in the cabin with her was actually moved to another cabin by the cruise line, because there was no room to move in the cabin, because she had bought so many things. Now, that could be annoying for the cruise line, and that could be annoying for the passenger who was with her, but is that annoying for the other passengers? I don't care how much stuff people have in their cabin next door to me. I just care that it's not making a lot of noise. That's the only thing I care about. I could care less how many souvenirs this person decided to buy. I don't care. Some people have more money than I do and can buy a ton of souvenirs, and that's what they enjoy doing. I don't care. Now, apparently this cruise line, at the end of the day, when the cruise is coming to an end, they offer, if people have some items that they need to ship and box up, that they will help them do that. Now, apparently this woman had so much stuff on her cruise, like in her cabin, that the cruise line itself didn't have enough boxes to be able to box everything on this ship in her cabin, as well as enough staff to sit there all night packing her stuff up for her, and said they weren't going to be able to do it. She had an exorbitant amount of things. The story doesn't tell how the lady ended up getting her stuff off. Did she abandon it? Did she not do anything? What did she end up doing? It does not say. However, they did say that they held a virtual vote during this ship sailing with all the people in the group, and they all said, we voted her off, keep her on, vote her off, and we all voted her off because she's so entitled. But in all honesty, while annoying in some points, I don't call that entitled. To me, entitled is, coming into the theater with 2 minutes left to sit and demanding a front row seat because, you're you, right? Or demanding they serve you even though you didn't make a reservation in the specialty dining. Demanding, don't you know who I am? That's entitled, right? That's being entitled to whatever it is. People who go down and complain that they want a full bottle of shampoo, not a partially empty bottle of shampoo. Those are entitled people. Just buying souvenirs when you're on a souvenir shopping trip and on a cruise, and being the first in line to buy something when they return to the ship because they said they were going to bring them to the ship to sell, that's not entitled. That's shopping. I don't know. Yeah, so I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to say that I wouldn't call her an entitled cruiser, a bad, maybe annoying to some fact. There might be other stuff that happened other than what was in this article. But I really could care less if a woman bought a lot of items. I could care less that she was first in line. I wanted to buy a 5-foot mask. And she got there before me and there were none left. Oh, well, I'm disappointed. I guess I'll be a little upset. Maybe I'll go to her and say, hey, would you like to buy, could I buy one from you? You have 3. I might be annoyed with it, but I can't be mad at her because she was first in line. I can't be mad at her because she bought 5 bags of souvenirs at a souvenir shop. She's doing what people do. And she just happened to do more of it than the average person. So yeah, I don't know if actually who's entitled on here, right? Because the passengers actually got together and said we would vote her off. Was there anything that outlandish? Maybe there's other stuff. Maybe there's things she said. Maybe there's behavior she did other than what they were describing in this article. Maybe there's a whole bunch of other stuff. But annoying, yes. Entitled? No.